Hello everyone, I'm Axley, and today I'm going to be presenting on successful communication projects, and I'll be giving you a little bit of detail on how to put together a strong communications project, whether that be your speech or your presentation, as well as some tips and tricks on successful delivery and presentation. So let's get started. Like I mentioned, my name is Axley, and I'll explain a little bit more about myself. So, I'm still a 4-H member. I'm in my last year. I'm 20 years old. I've been a member of the Zarmatisco 4-H Club since I was 8 years old. I'm a provincial ambassador, so I've been an ambassador for the past 3 years. I've competed at the provincial level for communications twice, and I've really developed a strong passion for public speaking, and I've really began to enjoy it. I'm also a college student, so I've been attending Lakeland College for the past 2 years. I'm in my last semester here at Lakeland in the Animal Science Technology program. So that's a little bit about me, and let's get started discussing public speaking. So, when thinking about developing a prize-winning communications project, there's kind of 3 things you need to cover. You need to choose a topic, create a goal, and then add some substance. So for the next few slides, I'm going to go over how you can choose a topic that's going to really hit home, how I can explain how you want to create a good goal to help you develop that prize-winning communications project, and give you some tips and tricks on how to add some substance to really make your communications project stand out. So first off, when you're thinking about creating a speech or a presentation for your communications project that everyone must complete in 4-H here in Alberta, the first thing you need to do is you need to choose your topic. So when choosing a topic, you want to choose something that's relatable to you. It's far more easy to talk about something that you can relate to rather than talking about something that you have no idea what it even is about. Your topic should also be something that you are very comfortable with. So, like I said again, it's a ton easier to talk about something that you know a lot about. And you should also be very confident with your topic. So you should really have a passion for what you are going to be telling everyone about. If you're doing a presentation, you should be very confident with being able to explain the steps on how you're going to bake cookies, or exactly what it is you are doing to maybe create a Lego structure, something like that. So your topic is going to be very, very strong, which then in turn will allow for your communications project to be very strong. If your topic is something that you can easily relate to, something that you are very comfortable with discussing, and something that you are confident or passionate about. So some examples I have here at the bottom of my slide about some topics for the different age groups within our 4-H program. Our juniors, some topics that you could choose to present about is your summer holidays. So that is something that you can easily relate to and that you should be very confident with because you went out and did that firsthand. Intermediates are kind of where you want to start ramping up your topic to be a little bit more professional. So intermediates, a good example of some topics for your speech or presentation is to research about an animal. You can say why they are a very good animal to have within our environment or our ecosystem, or really just explain why you find this animal very fascinating. So that again is a topic that you can really relate to and that you can be very confident in discussing if you have a passion about that animal for some reason. Seniors is more about professionalism. So some ideas or some examples of topics for your speech presentation at the senior level could be researching current events or public issues in today's society, or you could also state your opinion on a controversial topic that is maybe hot in the news. So you can easily do some research on a current event or public issue And then you can take a side with it, so you can easily go and explain why you think this is a really important issue that everyone needs to be informed about, or really state some facts or dispel a myth about something that is in the news that you think isn't correct or that people really need to know more details about. So yeah, even within all those different topic ideas I talked about and explained, you can really see how by choosing a topic like the ones I explained, there is a way that you can easily connect to the topic to really help you excel in presenting about it. After you've come up with a topic and you kind of know what you want to talk about, you know kind of the way you want to portray your thoughts, and you really know what you want to hit home to your audience. You need to create a goal. So, in order to be successful in anything, you have to have a goal. You need to know where you want to go and what you want as an outcome after you've completed something. So, that's no different than presenting a speech or a presentation and completing public speaking. So, when you're doing your speech or presentation, it's very important that you have a clear goal in mind. It's very important that in order to have a very solid communications project and allow for the judges to easily follow you through your whole 6-minute presentation, you want to know what you are going to cover within those 6 minutes and what you really want to prove. So if you are talking about a current issue in the news, you really want to know what exactly you want the audience to learn from your presentation or your speech. You really want to know what information you're going to give your audience to better educate them. Or if you're talking about your summer holiday, you really want to go through and have an idea about exactly what you want to be talking about and where you want to go within your speech so that you don't get lost in talking about a ton of different topics that don't really all tie together. So when the judges are marking you about your delivery, they're really focusing on how well you tie everything together and how fluid your information is that you're presenting. So in order to be very fluid and very thorough and very complete in all your speaking, you need to have a goal so that you can easily follow along with planning out your project. There are 4 types of communication goals. So once you have your topic and you're trying to figure out where you want to take your project, you need to choose one of these 4 that I'm going to discuss so that you have that clear goal. You know what you want to prove and you know how and why you're covering the topics you have. So the first type of goal that your communications project can have is to be informative. Informative goals teach the audience about something. Maybe it's to complete a task, maybe to inform them of a certain subject. So this is where you would be really trying to hit home your point of view on a topic. Another goal that your communication project can have is it can be persuasive. So you're really trying to convince the audience of something. Maybe you need to convince them that global warming is not happening, or that maybe Disney World is the best place to go on a summer holiday, something like that. You're really trying to change their thoughts by your presentation or your speech. You really want to make them believe in your opinion. You really want to make them take a side with you, take a stand with you, and join you in maybe advocating for agriculture or anything else that you are very passionate about. Your communications projects can also be motivational. So if you are going to set your goal for your communications project to be motivational, you are going to be focusing on trying to encourage the audience to do something. You want to make them take a stand on your topic. Your presentation or speech can also be entertaining. So this is pretty simple as you want to keep their audience's attention and just tell them about something. This is fairly a simple goal. Maybe it's just to tell everything you did on your summer holidays and all the amusement park rides you went on at the fair or at Disney World, or how you had the best boating trip out on the lake. You're simply just giving them a little bit of information to keep their minds entertained and allow them to build a fun picture in their minds. After you have your topics, you know what you're going to be talking about, and you've picked one of those four goals so you have a clear direction that you're going to be taking your project. You now need to add some substance. So when adding substance to your project, you're going to be giving it some bones to stand on. So when I say that, I mean you're going to add some facts on the topic that you've researched. Maybe you're going to add some statistics about or the topic that you researched to really try and persuade your audience to see how you see the topic. And lastly, another great way to add some more substance to your project and really show the judges and the audience that you've put a lot of thought and effort into your speech or presentation is to add quotes. Quotes are a really great way to switch up your presenting by not just allowing the audience to hear your thoughts and your opinions on the topic, but show that you have done some research, you've looked into other things, and there's another person that sees the topic similar to you and that you really side with or that you really agree with, or maybe you don't. That's another way that you can add some persuasion if that's your goal. Now that we have covered those three main areas to put together and to start to build a good speech or presentation that you're really going to excel with, we're now going to focus on organization. So you can have a really strong topic and you can do a lot of research on that topic and you can really be ready to hit home why everyone needs to see the topic as you see it. But if you don't organize your thoughts and your research and all your other substance that you've gathered in a really good way, you can easily lose your audience, you can lose the judges, and your delivery and presentation won't be near as strong as it could be if you organize it in a really professional and clear format. So there's 5 basic parts of your communication project. It doesn't matter if you're doing a speech or a presentation. When you're planning out either one of those, you still should include these 5 areas and organize your delivery this way, in my opinion. So I really like to start off a speech or presentation with an attention getter. So you really want to lock in your audience's attention. You really want to get the judges to kind of be intrigued on what you're about to say. This can easily be a simple statement or a quote, or maybe you state some facts that are going to intrigue your audience and really want to make them listen to you to figure out where you're going or what those statistics are really representing, or what you're going to say based on a quote that you just stated. So it's very important that at the beginning of your project, at the beginning of your delivery, you lock in your audience's attention. You must include a salutation in your communications project. So that's pretty standard in your project. You also have to have, or you should include an introduction. This is going to kind of provide another stepping platform to show your audience on where you're headed within your project, what you're going to kind of be covering and explaining, so that they can kind of start putting the pieces together and also get their brain thinking to start wondering a few more questions so that they will keep engaged in your presentation. You also need a body. That's where you're going to hold most of your information, and then just like any other essay that you're ever going to write in school, you need a conclusion or a summary. So this is going to wrap everything up, conclude all your thoughts, and hopefully answer any of the other questions that your audience might have in their mind. So yeah, just in recap, the 5 basic parts of a communications project that you should include is your attention getter, a salutation, an introduction, a body, and a summary. This is how I organize all of my communications projects, and I think that this is a very good way to ensure that you stay on track when writing and delivering your speech or presentation. So now we're just going to delve into a little bit more about each of those basic organizational parts. So your attention getter, it is optional. You don't have to have one before your introduction, but I think it's a really great way to lock in your audience's attention. Like I mentioned earlier, your attention getter is intended to get the audience's attention, just like the title says. When using an attention getter, you want to get your audience ready and excited to listen. So you want to get their minds turning about what exactly you're going to cover so that they stay in tune to your presentation. Your attention getter can, like I said, be as simple as a quote. It could be a startling statement that really will have them questioning, what did that mean? What are you trying to portray with that statement? Your attention getter can also be a story or personal experience. So if you are talking about your summer holiday, you can easily start off with a simple statement about how your summer began and why you think that this was the best summer ever, just to really lock in that audience's attention. Next up is your salutation. So this is part of your speech that is very important to include. Your speech or presentation is not complete if you don't have a salutation. So within your salutation, you are acknowledging the audience. It's very important to acknowledge the audience when you're starting out, since they took time out of their day to come and listen to you, so you really want to acknowledge their presence. A simple salutation that I use in all my speeches and presentations throughout my many years of competing is, "Thank you, Madam or Master Chairperson, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow 4-H members." So that's really quick and easy to say, simple to say. There's not a lot of frizz to it, but it covers all your bases. It's very important in your salutation that you acknowledge your chairperson, because maybe they've stepped up from your club to do this role, or they came especially to your communications just to do the chairperson role. And they are a very important role in your communications competition, so you really want to thank them and acknowledge them for introducing you and for coming to that day. It's also very important that you acknowledge and thank your judges. So they've also taken time out of their busy schedules to come and listen and judge you. So it's important that you acknowledge them and thank them that they're here. Same with your audience, so all your parents, your grandparents, other friends that have come, as well as your fellow 4-H members. One important thing that we need to remember in our salutation, and that I often see new 4-Hers kind of do that maybe isn't the most correct thing, is introduce themselves. So within your salutation, you don't need to introduce yourself, since that is what the chairperson has come today to do. So your chairperson will tell the judges and the audience your name and what your speech title is. So there's no need for you to reiterate that. There's no need for you to say, "My name is," and I will be presenting on this, because the chairperson has already said and told the audience what your name is. So there is absolutely no need for you to introduce yourself and tell them your name, because that's already done. So you can just skip that step and keep your salutation very clean and formal. So now, after your salutation, we need to move into your introduction. So just like when you're writing a story or an essay, all things start with an introduction. And the basic purpose of your introduction is to inform the audience. So you're going to explain the topic that you're going to cover, And you're also going to expand on the purpose of your topic, why you chose that topic, why you think it's important, um, and really just kind of broaden their horizons and really explain what you're going to be talking about, so that kind of the judges can follow along throughout the rest of your presentation or speech to see how you tie it all together to your main topic and to see exactly if you cover everything that you introduce to them. So it's very important that you start out with a solid introduction so that you don't lose anyone when you start, and so that you can really start off strong and everyone kind of knows what exactly it is you're going to be talking about, so you don't have any confusion. After you've done your introduction, you're going to go into your body. So this is going to be the main part of your communications project. It should make up at least 80% of the time or the word count that your speech is. So the purpose of the body of your speech or presentation is to back up the topics that you introduced. So within your introduction, you're going to explain your topic and what all you're going to cover. And then within your body, you're going to expand on those points that you told the audience you were going to cover. So if you say in your introduction that you're going to cover off the benefits of eating beef and why it's important to our economy to eat lots of beef, you're then going to go throughout your body and give them some more statistics and really broaden their horizons and provide lots more information on why beef consumption is very important. Your body, like I said, gives more information to your topics and really allows your audience to gain more information and gain a lot more knowledge on what you are saying and what your topic is about. Finally, after you've gone through and thoroughly discussed and described your topic, you're going to have to summarize it. So this is where your summary comes into play, and you really want to conclude all your thoughts. You don't want to lose any or leave any loose ends untied. You really want to make sure that you're finishing out strong and that you wrap everything up. So since your body is quite large, like it is 80% of your time, so you might have lost a few people in your body when you've been thoroughly explaining everything. So it's always important to bring all those points that you just discussed to one main concluding thought. Within your summary, it is important to restate the purpose of your speech. So you'll probably say that in your introduction on why you began presenting about this. So you just want to restate that at the end of your project as well. Another important thought that you should all remember, just like I said in your introduction, you don't need to say or introduce yourself, you don't need to say your name. In your summary or conclusion, you don't need to say thank you. So you don't need to verbally say thank you, just because that is a few extra words that you don't really need to include. And the judges should really be thanking you, and the audience should be thanking you for taking time to prepare that speech or presentation, and thanking you for sharing all that knowledge and information with them. So it's unnecessary for you to say thank you within your speech or presentation. You can, at the end of your speech, a way to show the audience and the judges that you have finished your speech is by taking a few steps back from the microphone once you have said your last sentence, and take a few seconds there, take a deep breath, and just give a slight little smile to the judges, so that you can show that you have finished your topic, you have thoroughly explained everything, and that you are confident in what you just said. That kind of shows that you were saying thank you without the necessary need to verbally express it. So I've just kind of gone through how you can start out by deciding what you're going to talk about, how you're going to put everything together, and really gone through thoroughly assembling a strong communications project so that the topic and information that you're going to be delivering is going to be very strong. So now I'm going to go through and discuss a little bit more about delivery and appearance so that you can really deliver a prize-winning communications project. So there's kind of 6 things that I like to kind of remember and pinpoint when I'm thinking and talking about delivery and presentation of your communications project. Because writing a really good speech or putting together a really good presentation is only half the battle. So you can be a really good writer and have everything written really good, but if you can't deliver that and you can't show and explain everything that you want to successfully, you're only going to be half as successful as you could be if you ace your delivery as well. So when you're presenting, it's important to speak in a slow, clear voice. Alright, so a lot of times you're going to have a lot of valuable information, a lot of statistics, some quotes. So if you just ramble on and on and on in a really fast voice, and maybe you're not taking time to really pronunciate every sound within your words, it's going to be really hard for your audiences and your judges to follow what you're saying and really to stay in tune with everything you're trying to educate them on. So it's really important that you practice to speak slow and that you really practice proper enunciation of your words. Another way that you can really step up your delivery and your presenting is to have a lot of eye contact. So this comes from really practicing your speech and choosing a topic that you're really confident in so that you don't need to keep just reading off of your notes and just staring down your note card. You really want to be locking eye contact with each one of your judges throughout your presentation, your speech, and be scanning the audience. By having a lot of eye contact, you're showing the judges that you have really practiced your speech and that you're really prepared to be delivering it, and that you are very confident within yourself to be standing up there in front of everyone and to deliver your speech or presentation. Now, while public speaking might not be everyone's favorite thing to do within our 4-H careers, it's very important that when we are delivering our communications projects, that we are pleasant and that we have a smile on our face. So, like I mentioned earlier, it's a good idea to take a step back and smile before you exit the stage after wrapping up your speech. It's also important to be pleasant to your chairperson and look like you are really enjoying your time at the competition while you're walking onto stage and while you are walking off. So your physical appearance plays a lot into how a person judges you as well. Another way that you can really step up your communications project and your presenting skills is to incorporate gestures. So that's some simple hand signals. That also really shows the judges that you have practiced your speech and presentation and that you are very confident in your delivery. So your gestures can be as simple as counting out 1, 2, and 3 on your fingers while you explain the 3 biggest benefits of recycling, or something as simple as that to really show that you know exactly what it is you are talking about. And it also keeps the audience's attention if they see a little bit of movement up in front of them. So if you just stand there pencil straight and rattle off whatever it is you're talking about, you're not really going to keep the audience as engaged as if you had a few gestures so that you can really show and keep everyone engaged with a little bit of movement. When we are using gestures, it's very important that we keep them inside of our body. So kind of how I like to think of that is When I'm using my hands to further explain everything, I really want to keep my elbows inside my body. So I want to keep them along my side and just move my hands outwards or up and down. I don't want to really be flailing around my whole arm and my elbows because that can actually get you disqualified if they feel that you are creating too much movement, especially within a speech. Within a presentation, it's not quite as big of a deal to keep your gestures within your body because presentations do allow you to move across the stage a little bit. But when we are doing a speech, it's very important that we kind of keep our elbows against our sides and just use our hands a little bit to kind of add a little bit of movement, but we're not throwing our hand way out across our body. Like I have mentioned a few times, a way to really show that we are confident in our delivery is to step back from the mic when we are finished. It's a good idea to give a smile, but that's also just our way of saying thank you without verbally saying it, like I mentioned earlier. The way to really hit home your delivery and your presentation is to use proper grammar. So it's very important that you don't use slang and that you're talking the proper tense, just because then it shows that you are very knowledgeable about your topic and that you are not just there to get it done and over with, but that you have put in some effort to really make this communication project a prize winner. So that was a little bit of my tips and tricks for delivery. I Those are some things that I follow along with when practicing and preparing to deliver my speech. And now I'm going to cover kind of 4 major things that I look at and think are very important when thinking about your appearance at a public speaking competition. So when we are presenting, it's very important to dress formally. So you don't want to be wearing sweatpants and just a regular t-shirt to the competition because this is kind of a formal event and you really want to be taken seriously. So in order to be taken seriously and for the judges to really listen to you all the way and really appreciate exactly what you're saying, is you really need to show them through your dress code that you want to be taken seriously and that you have put a lot of effort into your speech or presentation. So formal dress code for boys is generally a button-down shirt. If you're going to wear jeans, make sure that they are dark with no holes or stains or rips in them. Dress pants are always a good idea. It wouldn't be a bad idea to throw on a tie either. Girls, again, dresses aren't mandatory. If you are going to wear a dress, just make sure that it's kind of at your knee level or below, and that it's not too low cut. Dress pants and a nice blouse and blazer are another good option for girls. So another thing to keep in mind when deciding what to wear for a communications competition is that we want to avoid clothing that will act as a distraction. So we may already be super duper nervous to be up on the stage talking in front of a lot of people that we don't know. And those strangers and that audience can already be a big distraction for you. So you want to limit as many distractions within your delivery as you can so that you don't lose your spot within your speech. So you want to make sure that nothing you are wearing is going to distract you. So you don't really want to wear, maybe baggy sleeves that are going to distract you or catch you up when you're flipping your cards. Or if you're doing a presentation that are going to interfere with your best presentation or not allowing you to fully complete your presentation project. You also don't want your clothing to be a distraction to the judge. So if they are constantly noticing that you're having to pull up your pants or that you're always having to flip up maybe a strap back onto your shoulder or something like that, that's going to take away their attention to what you're saying and put more attention on other kind of side motions that you're doing that aren't supporting what you're saying. With that being said, I think it's really important to have one statement piece that will allow the judges to really remember who you are. So all morning, maybe into the afternoon, they're going to be listening to many people give speeches and presentations, and those speeches and presentations can last up to 8 minutes, say, and if they have 20-some people to listen to, everyone kind of gets jumbled up in their minds if they can't easily pick you apart. So they might remember that the person talking about maybe their trip to the zoo did a really good job at presenting because they had a lot of strong eye contact and they used good gestures. So they're going to remember that that speech topic was really well delivered, but they might not remember exactly who you were. So you want to be able to allow them to pick out one thing about you that they're going to be able to remember or jot down, so that when you get up, say, to do your impromptu, they're like, oh yes, this is the girl that was really good with her eye contact in her prepared speech. So it's always important to have one statement piece that the judges can remember you by. Now, my last point on appearance when doing public speaking might seem kind of silly and unnecessary, but you would be surprised how many people come to a competition without being fully put together, per se. So it's very important that we comb our hair. Now, this might seem kind of common sense for girls. You know, with our long hair, it's always important that we brush it. But boys, this also plays a role in you and your appearance as well, even though your hair might be shorter. So it's always important to have all your hair combed, laying the right way, just so that it really ties in your whole appearance. So you might be wearing the nicest suit out there, but if your hair isn't combed, that's going to be one thing that the judge might pick up. And it might be, okay, so he was able to dress the part, but he didn't really put all the effort into fully wrapping it all together to make himself the most successful he could be. And anyone who is wearing long hair, it's always important to pull that hair up and away out of your face, so that, like I said, it doesn't create a distraction, because there's already enough distractions out in the crowd. You don't want to allow yourself to pull your attention away from your speech and your delivery. By having your hair pulled up out of your face, you're also showing the judge that you were very confident and that you're not trying to hide anything, and that you're really out there ready to embrace everything that the competition is about. So those are kind of my 4 tips in preparing to present your speech or presentation. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, or if you would like any further explanation on anything, or if you would like any more other tips and tricks on practicing your speech or presentation or impromptus. And one really big thing that I want to hit home, although I've gone through and told you how to format your speech and presentation, how to prepare to deliver it, and kind of how to dress the part, is you really have to practice. So there's only one way to get good at anything, and that's through repetition and practice. So if you follow all these steps that I've gone through, you're still only going to be as good as the next person if you don't practice and really put a lot of effort into your project. So with that, I'll leave you with all the information I just went through, and I wish you good luck in your communications competition this season.